Gonna be a 12-hour series where I'm just going through each and every episode of season 3 in JJK because this season was insane. Like, I'm one of the lovers of, like, most people that love JJK usually love it because of like the end of season 1 and then season 2 and all that stuff. I've been loving JJK from episode 1 of season 1, and I love that shit. Like, I love all of season 1. I was like, season 2 had like the tonal shift and was like very eerie and like lost filled and emotional. Season 3 almost felt like it was beautiful. Like, it was a beautiful blend of like of everything being slightly lighter, still having everyone kind of like reeling off the damage and everything. And we got to see just more exposition of like a whole new set of characters. We got to see more depth from our already like from our established cast that aren't dead, and we got to see them kind of like go through the motions and understand, like, take responsibility for everything. One key thing I did, like, I might be jumping an episode is when Megumi said we killed all those people, and I kind of really like that because also as a manga, as like someone who's already read the manga 3 times because I have an addiction, it's just kind of nice seeing all these things. I know people say, oh, if you've read the manga, why are you still watching the anime? You've just spoiled it for yourself. No, there's something beautiful about like reading the manga of something and then just seeing it come out as a masterpiece. Now, throughout this entire season, the main thought in my head was like, I hope these animators are like okay, because everything from, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it, and everyone likes to say, oh, well, it wasn't real, like it happened, it was a thing that occurred. Okay, the animators and all the director guys, they came out, they spoke, and their voices should be heard. So that was just a recurring thing. I was like, this is amazing, but I hope they're okay. This is amazing. Like, I would be like, this is peak, but our mappa taking care of them. Have they seen their families? That was like a big thing in my head. But like, it's really hard to kind of strike that balance between media and like the people creating it, because like animators are very like underpaid and everything, and I always feel bad about it. I'm just like, this is so beautiful. Like, how do I gas this but like not think about that? It's something that like that just occurs in my mind. Anyway, I'm gonna go through episode 1. I'm already 2 minutes in. The direction was a masterpiece. This scene of Yuji washing his hands, and it just, like, can I just say, the sound directors, everything, like, oh my days, did they just do a bang? Like, you thought season 2 was great? You thought, like, what's it called? Hidden Inventory was great with the takoyaki, with, like, the silence of Geto, like, washing his hands and taking a shower? No. The entire sequence of Yuji washing his hands, the blood not coming off, just that eerie silence, like, that kind of just monotone sound of the water and everything, and, like, the lights. Oh my days. And then Yuji taking the breath. It was beautiful. Then we have Yuta, himself, pull up. Yuta just, this season, and I've still never understood the bomb allegations from Yuta, because they don't make sense to me, but that's a whole separate video. But Yuta this entire season showed us why he's him. And the events of future seasons of like what's to come if you're an anime only, I'm just gonna tell you that if you think Yuta is a bomb, you misunderstood the whole point of what his character is, and you don't even understand like what Yuta kind of represents in the story. That's all I'm going to tell you. I feel like you need to take a deeper layer into Yuta's character. He's not just some OP guy that's better than Yuji, and everyone's like, oh, Yuta's a better protagonist. Like, there's more depths and layers to Yuta's character, and it's like much darker, especially with the new release, like stuff we got about Rika and everything. Like, Yuta is a much darker character than we realized. So him taking on this like executioner persona, it was like executed flawlessly. I loved it. It was beautiful. Then we have the infamous scene of this light socket spinning when the lawyer's there to read off Nobito's will and everything. And oh my days, do I pray that those animators are okay, because that shit was peak fiction. It was just, you could feel the tension as you're watching it. I was just like, this is a masterpiece. I'm like 5 minutes in and I'm glazing already. 5 minutes into the episode and I'm glazing. And the subtle aura farm, obviously we got all the memes, like, JJK is just gonna provide memes and trends for years and everything. I love how Nobito, like, I love how even while Gojo is sealed and everything, Gojo still holds influence on everything. Because I saw like a skit of some guy being like, oh well, Gojo's not God, and like, you could, in a way, right, in verse, Gojo was like, we all know from Shibuya that Gojo was the only one keeping everyone in check. But it's crazy to see see how Gege uses his character, and I love everything about Gojo, even up till his death, and what he represents in verse and in show. It's just that loneliness at the top and that kind of like isolation from Gojo that Yuji eventually does feel. If you're an anime only, then I'm probably gonna stop here. I do love that through Gojo's influence, even in Nobito's will, Megumi would still be the one to inherit the Zenin clan and all the cursed tools and everything. I mean, those bitch ass niggas did still steal them from Jujutsu High, so I mean, they clearly weren't afraid to do whatever the hell they want, which obviously forces Naoya to be like, well, I'm gonna kill Megumi and Sukuna's vessel. I'm just like, I don't really think you're gonna. Like, it's funny being a manga reader, because like, he couldn't handle Choso, and it's just comical to think that like the thought of him handling Megumi and Yuji, and like, it just won't end well for him. It really just wouldn't. Like, listen, it's honestly comical. I don't know where I stand on Naoya's character because I don't wanna just be like, oh, I arbitrarily hate him because he's just an asshole and all that kind of stuff. But like he is also unfortunately a layered character, and also it's meant to he's the perfect depiction of the Zenny clan's flaws and the representation about what's it called, the toxic nature of the family, of the clan, of what's called how things have been in Japan and how they've treated women in the past. So it is like his sole character is just like an abject like expository piece of just this is how the men were and this is how they treat women. Like that interaction with the servant lady was beautiful. I was just not beautiful beautiful in terms of its portrayal, not beautiful in terms of the actions that were happening. And when he's talking about Maki and his Maki and like his own, the only way he can differentiate them is between their Gigi. I was just like, you are a dirty dog, my friend. Well, we're not friends. This of Yuji just going through it, and then Choso come. I couldn't get enough. I couldn't get enough. Shout out Big Bro Choso taking Yuji out, and then we get the cinematic bit. I didn't watch the movie because I was just like, well, it's just Shibuya with some bits of the Culling games. I'm not gonna watch it out in cinemas. Like maybe there's some prettier stuff in there, but I thought the anime kind of captured all of it beautifully. One thing I will give them credit for. One thing I will give Mappa credit for, because I've been like, I hate when they do this. However, they have finally mastered the art of integrating their CGI properly. I thought like a lot of the CGI that they did in Attack on Titan was it teetered on either being subpar or just fine. I don't think they had any outstanding bits of CGI, but they've been able to blend it in a way where it almost looks natural. Like one of my biggest issues with Demon Slayer season 1 is that like the CGI in there, like the koi fish are just, I'm just like, they just don't fit in. You've got little Tanjiro, and then they just, is this season 1 or season 2? They just don't fit inside. It looks like I'm looking at two different things. I like this. I hate CGI, but I don't mind it when it's well integrated into the animation art style that you're doing. There's a way to blend that in, and they did that very well with this scene with the blood and everything. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. Moving forward, I loved Yuji drenched in the blood. It was just magnificent. And then obviously we get the other Naoya meme. There was a lot of memes. Can I say the color palette and the color palette is sublime. It fits the mood. It's eerie. It's all I can say is just beautiful. It's magnificent. It was the right choices. It's not too muted. It's very like you can feel the warm tones yet like dark subtle undertone of it, like with the purple, the contrasting purple and like slight switch within Wisteria. Like Wisteria is like a mix of blue and purple. I loved kind of like seeing that, and like how they used the deep red during that Naoya fight. I was just like, I'm inhaling every single thing about this and I love it. I just loved it. And then Yuta's pull-up was one of the most amazing things. Like, now I understand that there was some discourse about like some manga readers were like, oh, well, that's not exactly how Yuta sounds. I think this was perfect. I loved this. Okay, I loved how creepy, how like weird, how eerie he got. I love everything about like how distorted it is. Like you just see him up there, you feel this malevolent presence, and he is just some guy like in just some odd position. I felt like it fit right with JJK, fit right with the tempo and everything. It felt right. I don't know. It felt in place for where the story is at. I get manga readers maybe not liking that, but boy did I love it. And I always forget how, because you know they all eventually kind of like team up and everything, and Yuta was just doing this so that he could save Yuji. But I felt you almost forget how like regular tiers or like grade ones would react to Yuta. Like Yuta just feels like this smoke demon, this just like unfathomable presence that's kind of like Gojo, but like it's significantly darker, and you're just like, we might not make it here. I like Choso losing this shit was funny as hell. One thing I do like, and I got to enjoy more, is the kind of inner monologues. I find that like I actually do like those in anime, because I see a lot of people complain about that, and I was like, I don't really know where I stand because I've never actively like not paid attention. I've never actively thought about the inner monologues. I've always just kind of been like, oh well, it's happening, and I'm like, it's them. But like this, but I paid attention this time, and I was like, oh, I don't mind. I actually kind of like when they give those little expository pieces. I love the entire choreography. It was, I always say, Mappa have Studio Period to thank for for the blueprint, because the flowing, the what's it called, the sacrifice for what's called visuals against fluidity, and the hands, they were throwing beautiful hands. I loved everything about it. I love that Yuta's curse energy is purple. It just fits right. You know, it really just fits. I do also kind of like seeing Yuji kind of think more. We don't really get as much of that until because we haven't like in the fight with Kurisaki and him against two of Choso's brothers. Like Yuji does think, but we don't get that many expository pieces of Yuji figuring things out. We get a bit of it of him against Choso, but from the Colin games, like Yuji's battle IQ has gone up significantly higher. And I also don't like the notion that Yuji like punch kick. Like it's such a ridiculous notion because if you've paid attention, you realize that Yuji is analytical. Yuji is learning, and Yuji's also been a sorcerer for borderline 2 to 3 months at this time. So what do you want from him? He's 15. You know what I'm saying? I love the subtle flex of having more of you to just being like, I have more curse energy than Gojo, and the explanation. Like, if you don't like to read, stay your ass home. Okay, we read in this anime, we read in this manga. If you don't like the reading, there's too many words on the screen. Shut up. This is the wrong anime for you. We do reading here. We pay attention here. I know some of the fan base, we have the little joke that we don't read. No, we read. Okay, we pay attention. When they put stuff on the screen for us, we're gonna read. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna enjoy that shit. I like that shit. I like exposition. It's nice. And I like the explanation of and Yuji going through like Yuji understanding like, oh well, when the cursed energy is not enveloped properly, or like when you have a regular user of it, it's just gonna be flaying, and you can see that it moves traffic. Like it's a take back to when they were explaining that in season 1. But with Yuta, it's just cursed energy all over. Like that shit. Like seeing this fight from Yuji's perspective, like and how dominant Yuta appeared, but Yuta also realizing that Yuji's a tank, and like I can't just like out muscle him, but I also don't want to harm him that much. But I need to make it look like I struggle, or like I took my time to take him down, that kind of stuff. Because he needs to make sure the higher ups, and when he tells Naoya to report to the higher ups, that like they believe him and everything. And then, bro, I couldn't be Yuji in this situation. I couldn't just feel Riga. I would cry. I would scream fire. I would scream fire because what do I do? Like, what does Yuji actually do? Yeah, the outro sequence is beautiful as well. Can I also say I love the opening, bro? It just everything about this season just fits right. It fits so perfectly inside it, and it just makes me so happy. Like I'm just so happy.